YNW Melly's lawyers are now taking over this trial, so much to the point where the judge himself is sounding like this trial should just be over already. Here's what you need to know. On day 4 of the YNW Melly trial, it was a massive win for Melly. We even saw the famous rap lawyer go on to mention this.
And it went off the rails for the prosecution today at the YNW Melly trial after a tragic direct examination. At the conclusion of today, the defense asked for a mistrial. You'll see the judge at the end basically say, I'll give it to you if you want it. This is my opinion, read between the lines. Ask your client though if he really wants it, because I'll give it to you. That's what I heard, that's what I saw. He doesn't say it, but reading between the lines, that's what that judge means. Watch this.
Mr. Devins has been prejudiced. This jury sat there and watched this fiasco unfold with at least 10, maybe 15 sidebars after every 2 questions. And for that reason, we think that it was deliberate. It is highly prejudicial. This jury has been tainted, and we move for a mistrial.
This is exactly where YNW Melly wants to be, 1 week in and in complete control. Rap TV would even share context on what a mistrial would mean, starting with, why would Melly's team file for a mistrial? Well, if a mistrial is granted, it would lead to a built-in appeal. Further stating, so what does that mean? This means not only would we have to start the trial all over again, but Melly's defense team would have a significant built-in advantage during the next trial, because that usually indicates improper admission of evidence and jury misconduct, including a photo of YNW Melly and his lawyers that many people don't understand. In the photo attached to the tweet, many believe YNW Melly is angry with his lawyer, but it's actually the opposite. When speaking about the mistrial, YNW Melly allegedly didn't understand what it truly meant. He then turned to his lawyer and was reacting with excitement, hoping that this means that he will be released from jail. His hand motions in the photo is actually him expressing his excitement. Now, this all started when the prosecutors took an witness to the stand. Now, reports state YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend's mother is a prosecution witness, but it looks like she doesn't even want to be testifying for the state.
I do remember that they kind of me and my daughter and take her to jail for accessory. I do remember that.
Yes. And in terms of the statements that you made about what happened, you don't have any recollection of that. Did you read this statement multiple times?
I looked at it and I just didn't recall it, and I don't know.
And so you indicated you hoped you were truthful with law enforcement.
Yes, I did.
I have to ask you to be more definitive. Were you truthful?
I don't remember what I said to them back then, so if I was to tell you something now, I could be lying. I don't want to lie on the stand because you're going to take me to jail. So I'm saying what you want me to say.
I do not want you to say anything, I want you to tell the truth.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
The prosecutors were hoping and expecting her to fully cooperate and even share what happened on the night Sack Chaser and Juvie sadly passed. However, the feds have been treating her very poorly for the last few months, making her wear a GPS tracking device around her ankle and monitoring all of the steps that she was taking. Even though many people believe that YNW company paid her off, it's actually the opposite. She was aggravated with how the feds were treating her. However, the other major win for YNW Melly leading to his release was in the report of YNW Melly's reaction when a firearm expert tells the judge that he did not bring the item because he has no idea what item was used for the crime.
Why not?
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what firearm was used.
Okay. Do you have a...
However, are these wins large enough to overtake the losses that he has taken in the trial? As we have seen YNW Juvie's father react and even share his opinion on YNW Melly. As we saw reports of, the father of YNW Juvie explains why he believes YNW Melly is responsible for this crime.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation, when I finally talked to him and Bortlen on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They wasn't reacting to they act like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right.
Juvie's father also mentioned an altercation that happened 2 days before their passings between YNW Melly and Sack Chaser, involving Sack Chaser messing with Melly and Melly's gold grills falling out in the process. As shortly after it was reported, we would then see during the trial, YNW Bortlen had powder residue on his hands, as well as a change of clothing when he dropped off Sack Chaser and Juvie to the hospital. YNW Bortlen and YNW Melly were the only two men in the vehicle with them, including this video of a lawyer breaking it down.
Melly's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, a car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
In the video clip, that is YNW Melly's lawyer. He reveals to the entire courtroom that YNW Bortlen is the one that lied to the feds when they were asking him what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie on the night of their passings. As to why YNW Bortlen also brought a change of clothing, it seems pretty obvious he knew something was going to happen on this night, as the interview of YNW Bortlen was also shared in the courtroom and even to YNW Melly for the first time.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
Now, the famous rap lawyer would also confirm that was YNW Melly's attorney, basically throwing YNW Bortlen now into the mix.
And we have an absolute shell being dropped by the defense, a mic drop moment. The lead attorney on Melly's defense team telling the jury that Cortland Henry lied to police when he showed up at Memorial Hospital that morning. He lied about what happened. He lied about not having a phone on him. That Cortland Henry, this is according to Melly's attorney, that Cortland Henry showed up at that hospital with a change of clothes on, and that Cortland Henry showed up at that hospital with powder residue on his hands.
This current moment would stir social media in a massive way, leaving many to believe Melly is now just trying to put this onto YNW Bortlen. YNW Melly's attorney, he was done for his set after speaking on Bortlen. Then we would see YNW Melly and his other attorney begin chatting and laughing inside of the courtroom.
Oh, Jada is Anthony's? What about Chris's? Did it live here or in Barrel? The mom? Who lives with you at 18521 Southwest 24th Street?
Very strange behavior going on during trial, as on the next set of conversation, we would see reports of prosecutors show video of YNW Melly hopping into the car that was involved in his friend's passings, while sharing never before seen footage.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
That never-before-seen footage not only confirms that YNW Melly did get inside of that vehicle with Bortlen, Sack Chaser, and Juvie, but it also confirmed what time they left the recording studio at. What we also learned was that after the crime was committed, YNW Bortlen and Melly sat around for 40 minutes before getting medical attention for YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. We learned what Melly and Bortlen were doing in that 40 minutes. As it was shared, prosecutors say Fredo Bang picked up YNW Melly after the incident involving Juvie and Sack Chaser.
And Chris Thomas are. So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Devins is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens then, about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Devins has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone calls.
So this reveals that in that 40-minute time span, YNW Melly used that time to call a friend so that he could be picked up. This answers why YNW Melly began sprinting down the street on foot as he was gonna go meet with Fredo Bang. However, YNW Bortlen, he used the 40 minutes to change the clothing that he was wearing, as it's not suspicious at all that he brought a change of clothes to a recording studio at 4 in the morning. And he also used that time to allegedly stage the drive-by. With all of the case-breaking evidence being shared in the courtroom for that day, it wouldn't be until the following day where we would learn more important moments. However, the question still stands. Did YNW Melly's huge day 4 in the trial, where the judge is even asking about mistrials now, still enough to show that he's guilty or not? To answer that, I believe you need to look at day 2 in the trial. Now, the trial started with reports of YNW Melly was praying in court this morning before trial started. And then you skip ahead into the first recess of this trial day, and you notice unusual activities from YNW Melly, as videos began going viral of him acting strange. Then this would lead into the next break where YNW Melly is seen doing even more weird head movements as well as flexing his diamond grill in the courtroom. Now I will remind you, this is a trial that could result in the penalty for this man, and he doesn't seem bothered at all. YNW Melly seems very unbothered by everything. Is that a good or bad thing? But just as his music manager 100K Track mentioned, he stated Melly has great defenses on his side.
He built a real great solid team away from just being innocent, because he wouldn't do such a crime. He prepared himself and got a proper, defense. Their job is to handle themselves in trial, not on social media. You guys are taking it that way. If they say they got DNA in a car, I'm just gonna tell you, Melly DNA was found in the car. You're gonna think, yeah, his DNA was found in the car the day of the. Oh, he jumped in a car and his DNA was in the car. He did it, okay? But you're not gonna put the fact that this was his car for 6-7 months on those documents and dockets and just automatically be like, yo, he's fried. You don't even know what the defense is. You don't even know what the rebuttal is. You don't even know why that situation occurred. You hear ballistics flying. You don't know what the defense is. You hear this, you hear that. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest.
However, later on until that trial day, it was when YNW Melly's defense team had been blessed with some of the motives that the prosecutors wanted to use now no longer being allowed to use. Many people believe this is the main factor as to YNW Melly could beat this case. One of the motives was that YNW Sack Chaser was set to receive $200,000 from YNW Melly's record label. However, prior to Sack Chaser getting offered this record deal, YNW Melly's mom would post this online.
Show me text messages from Sack Chaser, all her friends, and all these people, like he's about this life. But I'm saying, like, who you ever out at? What you ever did? You couldn't even take charge. If you don't sit your down and don't ever come for me, because my credentials is real. It ain't even a joke. So don't ever try to come for me, because I don't even play them type of games. Like, what you got that I ain't got? Oh, you your little. I got big. At the end of the day, Melly is my child.
If this motive didn't get thrown out of court, YNW Melly's own mom would have to take the stand and answer questions onto what happened in this instant. However, the feds already looked into it. To find answers, the police first attempted to subpoena 300 Entertainment, also known as the record label, offering Sack Chaser the deal. However, the detective explained that the company refused to honor their subpoena. Now, the feds would then go on to ask YNW Sack Chaser's mom, Jana Thompson, to expand on the 200 grand. This was all during a March 2022 deposition. Though she specified she didn't know exactly who the alleged payment was from or what it was even for, she said that her son reached out to her a few days before he passed, where she said, "My son hysterically called me," she said. "He was very concerned about my whereabouts. He was concerned about his sister's whereabouts. He was concerned, like something was gonna happen to us. And then he told me that he would not get his money." She continued saying, "He said, I'm probably not even gonna get my money." Thankfully for YNW Melly and his defense team, this motive has been thrown out of the court. Many believe this will be the reason he'll be getting released from jail.